course, a lot of people were talking about Taylor Swift's endorsement, but it was about concerns about AI. They're more of the top line as we move ahead in the election process and beyond. Let's bring my guest tonight. Jessica Hetrick is the Vice President of Federal Services at Optiv ClearShark. Up late with me tonight here on the Final Five. Jessica, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Jim.
I've actually talked with many of your colleagues in the past because there were issues about robocalls early in this election cycle involving President Biden. This endorsement from Taylor Swift, she mentioned that the former president has pushed out some images showing her endorsing him. AI is a useful tool, but there are a lot of safeguards and a lot of things that people need to know about its use.
Absolutely. So, AI in this generation, in this day and age, is such a beneficial thing in so many ways. It's also adding so many new capabilities and enhancements to malicious cyber attacks, to the disinformation and misinformation campaigns out there against businesses, the public, and of course the elections. The automation that AI allows for these campaigns to have, exploding web content, mimicking fake articles, it really adjusts the narrative. And while it's going to be ingrained in everything to some extent, both good and bad going forward, the idea that there is an author behind every text or behind every piece of content no longer exists. And it amplifies the message, taking advantage of some of those major concerns across the industry. Overall, increasing the threat landscape, enhancing capabilities, and honestly, that quantity is just going to continue to rise. And so it's important to know the types of things that you're reading and ask the right questions.
Yeah, and in addition to that, it's become something that has been so readily available. It's not something that you have to be part of a big corporation or a company or any sort of specialist. I mean, anybody can access these AI tools. And one of the big concerns that has emerged over the last couple of years, not just images, but deepfake videos that have become increasingly more lifelike.
Yep, absolutely. AI can really influence the narrative across the board. It erodes the public's trust in information. It blurs reality. And like I said, that quantity is greater than ever, but the quality of AI deepfakes and things are getting so good that it's sometimes hard to differentiate fake messages, fake articles, satirical messaging, those robocalls. And honestly, any level of election can be impacted. We're seeing things from, personas and websites that are fake or misleading to deep fakes and synthetic media, online videos, et cetera. We're also seeing them tied to, conspiracy theories or trying to fill information gaps where people are, starting to get really creative. We've seen, AI generated audio messages dissuading people from taking part in the primaries across the country. We've also seen boycotting of voting across Middle Eastern elections. So this isn't just limited to the U.S. border, but it's broad and it's going to continue to grow. And that evolution is going to be a really important thing that, not only do all the primaries take into account, but how do we also leverage that to combat malicious activity in a positive sense? Because there is that side of AI as well.
We have seen many efforts from government entities, not just here, but across the world, in terms of trying to put some sort of guide rails on the use of AI, especially in the context of politics, in the context of elections. Are we well prepared for that? Do we have the right people making the decisions on what should be put into place and what shouldn't be put into place?
Yeah, AI and ML, like I said, it can be leveraged for that. Machine learning also can be leveraged for good, right? And I think it's continuously in the forefront of our decision makers' minds. How do we leverage this capability to increase threat detection, to increase monitoring capabilities, to get smarter about the things that we're looking at? And it's also important for the general public to know the types of questions to ask. And so I think as this continues to become a center stone, as much as this Taylor Swift situation is front and center in a lot of people's minds, the notion that she puts out about disinformation is true. It's important to ask the right questions. And, we're not going to argue the political stance of any of our celebrity figures. But the reality is we have to think very critically and ask the right questions tied to anybody who's taking a stance or anything that might be taking a stance. Does it promote an emotional response? Is it bold or controversial and going to draw a lot of attention, seemingly like this situation did? Is it extraordinary or exaggerated or distorted? Are there links embedded? Is it clickbait? How is this magnifying or enhancing or accelerating a narrative one way or the other? And I think it's important that we all know generally that decision makers are very specifically focused on policy tied to, looking at these items more critically.
Jessica Hetrick, thanks for joining us tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And the Final Five is back after this.